So we got a lot to talk about, which is sometimes the scary thing.
I do have a lot to talk about.
I feel like I may have pierced a hole in the volcano.
No, I took all that honey money and I bought.
Why did you just look over your shoulder to make sure Abby wasn't there?
No, I was just looking at some of the stuff that I bought. I bought new cameras, GoPros, green screens. I bought a ton of stuff with honey money, including a bunch of demos. You know the demo, the Solana, the thing that goes in your car. No. Demo, have you heard of that yet?
No. Right. Should we just start recording?
We are recording.
Oh. So demo, tell me. So this is another Solana.
Okay, so last go round we talked a lot about gaming. Web3 gaming was what we were going for. You know what I mean? This time, I think gaming's going to be huge. But have you heard the phrase DePIN?
No, I don't think so.
You know, the XYO, you know, a lot of the things that I talked about on the earn coin for free in 2023. You remember that episode?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of that stuff is falling into a new category that you're going to hear a lot this time called DePIN. I thought they were saying deep end crypto, like the deep end of a pool, like it was cool stuff, like the deep end. And they weren't. They were saying DePIN, which is DE capital PIN, DePIN, and it's decentralized physical infrastructure networks.
Yes, I have heard of this.
Okay.
Yes.
So stuff like the Honey token, the Hive Mapper, if you want to roll out a Google Maps, but you don't want to fully pay for 1,000 Google cars with cameras and stuff, you know what I mean? If you don't want to do that, then DePIN is a decentralized physical infrastructure network where people can come to you, buy their way in with physical hardware, and then contribute to this infrastructure in a decentralized manner. You're rewarded with crypto. That's what the Hive Mapper is. There's a few major projects going on in DePIN right now. Hive Mapper is a big one. Demo is another one. It's a tiny little Auto Pi. It's a little Raspberry Pi that plugs into your car's port. You know, if you're going to scan it for what? You don't know what that is?
Smoke cigarettes? Is that?
No, not a cigarette lighter. Every car after 2008 has a port where they can plug in a scanner, run diagnostics for like.
So
okay. It's what a mechanic.
What's the technical name of that?
OBD2. OBD-2, and it's a little thing up under your dash what the mechanics plug in when you got a light on your dash that isn't going off. They run that scan. Anyways, it also has some power source to it. So you get a little Raspberry Pi. It's called the Auto Pi or the Demo. Plug it in there, hide it in your dash, and it basically it's doing what Tesla cars do, which is recording all the information, all the data, the drive-in, the wear and tear on the car, the oil life, all that stuff. And now I think they have almost 30,000 of these things on the road, and they compile all that data. They sell it to the whoever needs it, highest bidder. I don't know who needs something like that. But in the first 4 weeks, I've made 842 demo, which is about $347.
4 weeks of just letting it gather data from your.
This is the only one I found that once it's installed is 100% hands off. It comes with its own SIM card. They pay for the, connect to the network fee. So you buy this. It costs about as much as a Hive Mapper dash cam.
$300.
Yeah, about $299. Plug it in, connect it to your wallet. Name your car, and then it goes in there. Let's see here.
Is there any way this is going to backfire? Like your insurance company is going to happen to find out that?
I feel like they have deals with insurance companies to get a discount because it also has a GPS tracker for stolen. It can monitor stuff like, again, oil, how long it's been since you've changed your oil, your oil quality, the life of it, the gas, all sorts of stuff like that. So maybe if
you're gonna start getting spammed like crazy from like the dealership, like your oil's way overdue, or
no,
good and bad, right?
no. So what I've looked at, it has all that information. It takes all that information. It assigns you a number, randomizes all your information, puts it on there. There's no connecting you to that number except through whatever wallet you have it dumped to, which is not public information. So
yeah. Just so private key, so it goes right into the whole decentralization deal.
Correct. I've got 3 cars on it right now, and I ordered 3 more. They just sold out. They're not going to be selling again until April. Throw one in Mom's car. I'm going to see if I can get somebody else to do it, because it is the only one, even the Hive Mapper, you have to offload it. So occasionally, once a week, you got to hook up to the Wi-Fi and offload it. This one, 100% hands off. It's powered by, ran by, all of it's in the system, takes care of itself, just dumps crypto in your wallet every week.
Knowing from your previous discussions with your mom, I have a very hard time believing that you're going to actually notify her that you're going to plug this Raspberry into her car and that she's okay with that.
So, the joke was going to be that I was going to do it without telling her.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were going to say, "Oh, I can't believe your mom would let you do that."
That's
the best part. You don't have to know. She'll never have to know until the day she takes it into a mechanic and they go, "Hey, this thing was
spoken like a true creeper.
Every mile that you drove."
Who's this AA Ron Sugarbush guy?
Exactly.
this black box is under.
I think I can convince her to do it. I convinced my older brother to buy. I think he bought 3 of them also. Yeah. It's plug in. You know what I mean? Like if you go into a mechanic and they need it, they just unplug it. This thing, it's not even based on how many miles you drive. It's based on the number of weeks consecutively that you drive. So as long as you turn it on and drive a mile at least once every week, it pays in streaks, So now I'm on a 5th week. So once you get to 36, you're topped out. Then you're really contributing the data that they need for an extended period of time. You're at the highest level.
So do you think this is and what token does it pay in?
So it pays in Demo, which is a Ethereum based. I think it's on the Polygon network. Yep, I've got it dumped into my MetaMask. It goes the same place that Next Earth tokens go to.
So this isn't a Solana. This isn't on Solana. This is on
Polygon, and that I was
Ethereum.
On Polygon, layer 2, Ethereum's layer 2. Yeah, Polygon mainnet, 861 Demo.
What's it currently at? What's the
like 38 cents?
Oh, so it's higher than Hive Mapper. So or Honey, but
yeah, but I think there's less coins out.
Right, not necessarily more valuable.
Right.
Which at this point, which is going to be what's going to pay you more? Do you think?
Hive Mapper's already blown it out of the water because that's based on how many miles you go, and I took it from Ohio to California and back, and I drive all the time.
So yeah. So let's.
I've literally cashed out $10,200 in Hive Mapper at the end of the year to round out my 2023 year taxes. I went ahead and cleared the bank. I wiped it all out. I think I pulled out another 7,000. But once I had doubled my investment of 300 to 600, I took out 300. And I was like, okay, now I'm even. You know what I mean? This was when I was doing it when it was 1 and 2 cents. Yeah. Then it went to 1,000, and I took out another 900. I was like, I've just tripled my money. You know what I mean? And
this is off just running one camera at the time, right?
One camera.
How many cameras do you have now?
I've ordered 5 more.
But you made 10 grand off one camera.
Yes.
In what has it been? 4 months, 5 months?
Since August.
How many miles total do you think you've driven?
I drive a lot of miles. I don't know how to.
I know.
I mean, like
20,000.
Actually, I bet I can figure it out. I could figure it out for this video, but I would say off the top of my head, less than 20,000 miles. But 7,000 of it was a cross-country road trip all the way to California and back.
Sure, just trying to get like I drive an average of like 22 or 24. Most people, I think the average is around 15. So when you cleared 10,000, obviously this is on a token that went from a penny or two to a high of 38 cents, right?
38
And
cents, yeah.
and now I think I looked today, it's like at 16 or whatever. You
Well,
obviously
I've
convinced me of this last month because I bought one and then I did some more looking at it. And I was like, you know what? Ben is like, not that I didn't trust you, but I was like, why would I not buy one for every one of my vehicles?
Did
Like
you just buy some more?
I bought a total of 4
Okay.
before the end of the month. So I've got 4 total. I bought one and then bought 3 more.
Oh, you didn't buy any in January?
No.
Somebody used my code in January and bought 4 more. It was on Facebook, but I don't know who it was then.
Okay. So you passed it around. I was trying to, okay. Yeah, obviously you convinced me, and it didn't take much to do, obviously, because it freaking makes complete sense.
Well, here's some good news. So this is the last week, and right about here was when Coinbase put Hive Mapper on their roadmap to be bought and sold on Coinbase. So then it shot up again, got up to 28 cents. But yeah, I had 60 or 70,000 tokens when it went from 2 cents up to 38 cents. It was like at 28, 29 cents, went up to 38 cents, and I was over 10 grand. Took a little out, bought some Wilder World tokens and some other projects, and then as it came down a little bit, I ended up selling the chunk of it, about 28 cents, and took out like the last 7 grand right at the end of the year. But last week, I got 2,530 more tokens. So in 1 week, 2530.
One camera, one week.
Camera. So I'm going to you can have 2 in each car, one in the front, one on the side.
Sorry. So that was 1 week. You said 2,500 tokens?
Yes.
What is that? So at 16 cents, what's the math? I think
it's 23 cents right now.
Oh, it's up to 23?
Yeah. Let's see.
It was down to,
well, it's at right 11. Now it's at 21 cents. Today it dropped to 19 cents, but right now it's at, let's say, 21 cents. So 2,500 times 21 cents is $525
in 1 week
for a $300
doing nothing
camera.
more than you normally do.
I did go. Sometimes I take roads less traveled, so I'm not 100% doing what I would normally do. Right. If normally I go down this street every time, you get more points for more. And they've got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm really getting ready. Once I get the rest of those cameras in, I'm really going to turn on the gamification, because this is, to me, is more fun than Web3 gaming. Is actually getting out there and doing it. So they have a Dayton region that has been like 53% mapped. So it means there's 47% that has. Now it's the Amish country above Dayton. It's not just inside the city limits around this area. So I'm going to get those roads. They've got a nice little map on here that shows you what roads have been driven, and you get a lot more for driving an undriven road.
Yeah, I watched, I can't remember which channel it is now, but I watched the CEO of Hive Mapper just did an interview, the one I watched like a month ago, whatever, and they've added, for certain areas, they've added multipliers now, right?
Right.
Mostly in countries outside of the U.S. because the U.S. has a good amount, but regardless, you're getting paid, but you could get a multiplier in there to pay you even more, possibly.
Correct. And they have, so like part of that region thing, your multiplier goes up. The more of the region is mapped, the more the multiplier goes up, because if you're driving on roads that have been mapped, you're making a much smaller amount for, so the multiplier then gets that back up to where it's still profitable to do that.
See. Okay. So, I didn't.
But that also means the multiplier counts no matter what road it is. So if you're in a multiplier and you're driving on regular roads and you're getting that multiplier, if it's in that region, has a multiplier, then you go find those unmapped roads, and now you're making the full price multiplied times whatever the bonus is. So,
well, because my understanding was they've got certain areas that the demand, like they've got company, because they're doing this because real world companies wants this data, just like your demos or whatever like that. So if they've got companies in Paris, France, that are requesting data, they're putting this multiplier out there also to try and get people to drive so that they can gather this data.
So yeah, so they have multipliers for the regions, but then they also have what's called honey bursts. Have you heard of those?
Yes.
And
You
those
talked
are,
about that.
that's flat out treasure hunting. They throw gold coins out on these roads, and if you're the first one to get out there and map those roads during the appropriate hours, then you pick up these honey bursts, and these are straight up honey tokens bonuses. So
can this go on forever, Ben? Like, is this the new world? Like I know we've been geeking about this for a few years now, and this year's supposed to be crazy, but you've actually, like, you were out forefront of this Hive Mapper deal. If you can call it that. I mean, you were still, it'd been out a year or something, but like you literally cashed in $10,000 last year and bought some more tokens and bought some other stuff that's going to compound to,
right.
This. I'm starting to think we might be actually on it. Like, this might be for real.
I'm digging it because I haven't even told you all the demo products that I've purchased. I've got all sorts of stuff.
Have you told Abby all the demo?
I did. I sat her down and showed her how much money I'm going to cash out in December, and I said I'm not going to spend a dime of our money. I'm only spending everything that I have built now. This DePIN empire.
Pyramid.
It all stemmed from a $399 camera. You know what I mean? From a dash cam. And I'd like to point out that I would have been much more on the forefront when I ordered it the 1st of February last year, but they had the new camera. And so I ordered the new camera because I said, if I'm doing this, I'm freaking going all in. And that was in February 1st. And it wasn't until July 15th that I said, okay, I'll take the old camera. I mean, because it kept delaying. So I finally said, I'll take the freaking old camera. They gave me the old camera in August, and the end of August is when I hooked it up, started using it. And so I'm so furious when I think about the coins left on the table from February to knowing that it's the first one out earns the most. You know what I mean? So, but to answer your question, yes, this can go on forever. And I'll tell you why. In the instance of Hive Mapper, companies have been using Google, basically your only option for Google Maps pictures, for years. And apparently a lot of companies use that data, specifically the pictures, to map out houses, to map out, areas that I don't even know what type of companies it is, if it's delivery companies or real estate companies or whoever's using this data. But think about how many times you've seen a Google car going down the road. It's very rare because one of those cars fully decked out is $150,000, $200,000. And so they do those trips very infrequently, especially around Wichita or say like Douglas, Kansas, there's very rarely a Google car out there. But these, yes, you're going to get more for getting out there and getting the unmapped roads the fastest, but they have a built-in system for refreshing. So if nobody maps this road for, I don't know how many weeks it is, then it goes back to white and it says, hey, we need fresh information on this. So then somebody would go back and remap it. But even the roads, like in the middle of town, Dayton is now, there's pink everywhere. But they are taking that data. They are using that data. That camera is now set up. I don't touch it. Once a week, I offload all the information. But it uses that data because if a company says, hey, I need to know what, such and such looks like, I can tell you what it looks like this week. We've had a driver go by there within the last 2 days. I can show you I could show you what's happening in the yards. You know what I mean? Like,
I can tell you if the yard has been mowed this week.
Even if you were just a landscaping company and you wanted to buy this information and you wanted to see what it was like, instead of driving down the road, if you wanted to buy this information for super cheap because it's the DePIN industry, however you want to describe it, the costs are so low that they can sell this data for so low because they're paying for it in a crypto that is separate from the project. It's just like any other regular token. It has its own tokenomics, and they've got it cut out for, the next 10 years, how many they're going to release and all this kind of stuff. So if you were a landscaping company and you were thinking, I'm going to go door to door this week and start selling stuff, and then you're like, Go down these streets. Actually, all these still look dead and brown. Maybe it's not time yet.
Well, there's
You
so
can
many.
find out that up to date.
Yeah, comparing it to the real estate industry, because there's so many things like this. You're like, well, us regular individuals, you're like, who actually needs that data? Like a lot of things, it's you
Right.
can't even begin to imagine. But applying it to real estate, I have clients that moving in out of the state all the time, and they'll sit. I'll make a connection with them from out of state. They get referred to me, and they'll say, "Hey, we really like this house. What's this neighborhood like?" Well, now they can use a product like this where they're like, "Hey, jump on there. You can cruise the neighborhood, right now." And see what it's actually like, as opposed to
Right.
going Google Maps that was 3 years ago.
Right.
Like,
and yeah, that always happens on Google Maps. You're like, oh, look, Google Maps doesn't even have this whole housing area right here. They've built 47 houses and new streets right here. Doesn't even exist on Google Maps.
Yeah.
And they're like, but with Hive Mapper, it was recorded yesterday.
Yeah.
Because somebody has a camera, lives in there, and they circle the block every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Instead of a company like Google spending all this money to do it, but they do it because they make money, obviously, doing it. They're not mapping the streets because it's a courtesy. You have a company like Hive Mapper that's paying individuals. It's much faster. It's simpler. They're not profiting as much, but they're also not out the cost, and it's a better product, which is continually what we keep seeing with decentralization and blockchain and Web3.
Yeah. And so this DePIN, that's their whole thing, is like, look, startup costs, you can have a good idea and you can roll it out in a week. Because especially right now that the market's starting to turn, people are like, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got? So, the demo that sits in there and just monitors your car information and where you're going, and, how fast you're driving and how many people are speeding and yada. That's stuff that all Teslas do already. In fact, Demo has a thing. If you have a Tesla, you don't even need one of these autopies. You just put in whatever your Tesla password is, and you could start earning the same amount of tokens.
That's convenient.
Yeah, with Tesla, because Tesla's got all that information already going. But that's also why Tesla is so much more than a car company. They're a technology company, and they're going to have so much data. They're going to be light years ahead of so many different car companies, because they have 1 million cars on the road driving 1 million miles a day. You know what I mean? So, So Demo is dipping into that. They're going to get a piece of that. Let's see. Demo Hive Mapper. I bought a space weather station, is what it's called, for that mines GeoDNet tokens. And what it does, I just got it in. Hold on one second.
Let's see it. It's like Christmas in the Kirsten house.
It was.
It's not even open.
Last week of December, first week of January has been something. So this is like a weather station for your house. Put it up on your house, hook it up to your Wi-Fi. It runs off of USB power, so you got to run that out somewhere, get it up to the highest point in your house, and it monitors temperature, weather, precipitation. It's completely weatherproof. I mean, it's like what the weather stations, the regional bases use, a smaller version. But then imagine that if there's 100,000 of those over Wichita or over America, instead of 5,000 main meteorology. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting way more accurate data, and you can really, imagine like when the weatherman is talking, if he's like, look, the temperature line literally goes right down here, not down through this state, but down through these two cities. If you were to go from Derby to Wichita, it's going to drop 4 degrees. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And you can see where we're getting right down that pattern again, where it's like, if you're an insurance company and you're rating properties, and it's like, well, this general area, in our area of Kansas, we get hailstorms and roofs constantly get replaced. Matter of fact, my roofer, he usually tells me, if I have him look at a roof, he's like, I wouldn't replace this. Give it another 5 years and we'll have a storm come through and you'll have a new roof anyway. Well, if you're the insurance company that you literally have data for the last, 10 years from this particular house that says, the storm usually diverts 2 miles to the east of here.
You're too close to the lake. So it usually doesn't do that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
That's it.
So
And then,
what else have you bought? So
so then Sweatcoin, you remember Sweatcoin? I think I talked about that in
that was one of the
2023.
first ones you had, I think, right?
It now officially has crossed over. It is its own token. So last time you were earning the in-app points, and they were supposed to. So they've recently switched over. You can now earn sweat tokens. It's like 1 token for every 5,000 steps, and there's a maximum amount you can earn per day unless you get like the premium and stuff. But that's kind of cool. Instead of just driving around, if you want to get out and walk, which I plan on doing once we have a baby this summer, and I'm out with the stroller, walking off that baby fat.
Yeah.
So sweat token, all the ones that I've already talked, like pie and honey. Man, not honey. Honey was the other thing. There's so many of them. And then I bought the Solana Saga cell phone.
Oh, you got one of those?
Yeah, dog.
You were
I got
one of the
one.
lucky to actually grab one. Did you order it when the hype went crazy, or were you way ahead of that?
I got it just
Are you a
before
bandwagon fan is what I'm wondering.
As soon as I saw so I had bought some Bonk at one point, and I didn't really think about it, and Bonk went up really. It had a great little jump in December. Yeah. And somebody said, just so you know, you get a 30 million airdrop of Bonk if you buy the Solana phone before the end of the year. And $30 million in Bonk is about $800 right now. And I went, it's a $600 phone. Got on there with all my honey cash. I just threw it in the basket. I was buying everything. Yeah. Bought that. It comes with $30 million in Bonk, which is about $400 now. I bought the case, the screen cover, the new cable, all the stuff you could get with it. I paid $643. I got 30 million Bonk, which is worth about $400 or $500 right now. And also the Solana Saga Genesis token, which qualifies me for future airdrops and other projects. Anybody who wants, Solana-based stuff, they're really encouraged if you're dropping a project to do a little something for people with the Solana Saga.
There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of hype about airdrops coming to that.
Access Protocol, which I've not heard of, but it's got its own coin. It airdropped me about $400 worth of Access Protocol, all sitting in the Phantom wallet. So if I cashed out right now, I'd be positive on the phone. But
for us novices, just explain, which there's not much to explain. The name of it pretty much tells you, but what is an airdrop? How does that work? Do you have to do anything?
For these, you got to buy the phone. For the future ones, they want you to have this Solana Saga. I have to slow it down because Saga Genesis is the name of the token, and I always say Sega Genesis, like the video game. So the Saga Genesis token is an NFT. It's a soulbound. Remember when we talked about soulbound?
Yeah.
It does not leave your wallet. Once you register it, you can't sell it, trade it, give it away, get rid of it. It's there. Soulbound token. That qualifies me for any other airdrop that only wants that requirement. Now, there are a lot of projects, like there's supposed to be a Jupiter airdrop that could be happening sometime in January. And they have they're keeping track of everything. If you're swapping stuff on Jupiter, they have those
which is
wallet
a
addresses.
Decentralized exchange.
Decentralized exchange.
A damn good one, I'm told.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's on Solana. I've been tearing it up. I've been swapping all sorts of stuff. So the way I understand it, they have different levels, and it's like if you swapped X amount of tokens or swapped between this date and this date, you get a certain type of airdrop. All these projects, airdrops are the coupons of the
crypto
world. So, you show up to the grand opening, here's a coupon. The developer airdrop, if on the Solana Saga, if you claim the developer token on this for any project, NFTs, anything, last December, you got, it was like a $25 billion or 25 billion token airdrop. and most people sold it as soon as, because last year they kind of had like a little bump when it first came out. It was the high point in the bear market was Bonk and Solana had a little hiccup. Most people sold then because it was worth several $1,000s. That one airdrop, if you held on to it till December, was worth $715,000.
The airdrop that people got for free that sold for a couple $1,000s at its peak at the time.
$715,000. I don't remember what the billion number of Bonk you got. Bonk's a meme coin. It's a ridiculous amount of coin to have in, but yeah. So, and then it was like at one point, the 30 million Bonk was well over $1,000. So if you bought, this phone used to be 1,000 when it first came out, it was 1,000.
Yeah,
and then
we talked about it.
The price on it kept dropping, and then the price of Bonk spiked. And somebody posted on Twitter and said, "Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you buy a $600, $599 phone, you get $1,000 in Bonk." And they said, until December 31st, and they sold out like that.
Yeah, it was gone. So will you be using that as your phone, or will that just be a tool? Do you have to have ongoing, service?
No, so it comes with a month of the Helium Mobile, which is another DePIN project where you could buy a DePIN miner or a Helium miner to broadcast out cell service to, if you're in a highly populated area.
Which is also a token and network that is skyrocketed. Something we've been keeping an eye on.
It's a DePIN network. So it comes with a month free of that. I popped out my SIM card from my unlocked Samsung, stuck it in here. It works just fine, but so does my Samsung. So I put the back in here. I use this for now offloading all of my camera footage, because I can hook this up to the Wi-Fi while I'm driving without taking this one off of, So eventually it'll probably take over this one. But you know how it is when you get a new phone, you got to set it all up. Yeah. And this one, I've only ever used Samsung's. So it's an Android, but it's got some
its own.
Yeah, it's got some things that I'm going to have to get used to. And I like to get my stuff all arranged, and got to get the right apps and stuff. But for right now, it's an airdrop machine that also, it's got all my wallets on there. It integrates all that stuff. I've got the Soulbound Genesis token. And when I have all 5 cameras or all 6 cameras going, I'll use this to offload all of that onto the phone, and then you can, when you hook it up to a Wi-Fi network, then it offloads it up to the internet.
Yeah, a lot of people are calling or predicting that Solana, including Raoul Paul, is predicting that Solana is going to be the darling of this this bull run, which we appear to be heading into very quickly. And part of that is, all of these companies that are building on Solana that are making airdrops and stuff like that. So that it's going to be, you might be, I'm sure we're going to be talking about it, but I'd love to not talk about your Saga phone till we get to the end of the year and say, hey, you haven't opened, you haven't checked. What's that look like now? Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I heard was all these, Solana's doing this, and this, and they've got meme token, and they're where Ethereum was pre $100 Ethereum days, and it's like, people are just inventing scam crap coins, that everything's popping up as fast as possible. So it's bringing a lot of people in, and there's a lot of ups and downs, and it's a lot of crazy, and the Jupiter decentralized exchange on Solana. It's like, you're doing all this stuff, but one thing that you can't help but notice is it goes like this, and the gas fee is 0.000004 Solana.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's like fractions of a cent to mint NFTs. I minted some Quick Trip NFTs. I minted different areas of Quick Trip onto my, just because you get extra points, if you're playing around in the Phantom wallet, and they give you some tasks and stuff you can do. So I minted,
which is the Solana wallet,
the Jerky wall and stuff like that, because it's so cheap to mint NFTs. It's so cheap to swap. It's so cheap and fast to send stuff, So like, I was just testing stuff out before I made my big dump, and it's like, sold a little bit, swapped it for USDC, sent that to Coinbase and withdrew it. And even though Coinbase was definitely where it slowed down, it was 10 minutes and I had the money from my Phantom wallet into my Bank of America account. And then it was no slower than that when I did the same thing with $7,000. And if you remember, I think I've talked about on this channel, when I left for England, I went to Bank of America and tried to get out $5,000
You have talked about this
from a physical location, and they said, no, you got to
of
go to
money
this
that
other
you
location.
had. Yeah.
So then I drove to this. There's $14,000 in my account. I need 5. They couldn't give it to me. Thought they might be able to give me 3. Went to the other location. They said no. Go back to this one. They should be able to do it. Went back over there. I said, okay, I'll just take the 3. They said, we don't have the 3 now.
Bank of America.
Bank of America.
Not
Bank of America, not
yeah.
Joe Blow's corner side bank. And I moved $7,000 in a matter of minutes with 0 hiccups. 0. What I was saying is, you were talking about how Solana is going to be the darling. I think people are going to get in there for the novelty of it. Even old Ethereum ERC20 token people are going to come over there because they know that all you got to do is get right once on some of these meme tokens, and they're going to see how easy it is. They're going to see how fast it is, how cheap it is. And there's no way to deny, if you're used to using Ethereum and swapping to Polygon network, so you can do this and you can do that and you can move stuff around. And then they're like, okay, it's only $14 in Ethereum for gas fees. And it's like, that didn't seem that bad back in the day when we were, moving a couple $100 worth of Ethereum. It's a little bit of gas, but that's because it's crowded right now.
Yeah.
It's unheard of in Solana. I mean, fractions of a cent.
And if you're a financial institution that's moving trillions of dollars back and forth, and we talked about this in an episode not that long ago, here in America, and probably across the world, but definitely in America, we love a good competition. This versus this versus, Solana's the Ethereum killer. Ethereum's going to flip Bitcoin. The reality is there's this world, there's a place for multiple, and they're doing different things. Now they are competing on certain things, but we're starting to see that separate out a little bit more. We're starting to see Bitcoin, more and more people are talking about how Bitcoin is probably not going to be your money system. It's a asset to hold. Ethereum, it's kind of, there's all these things that are going on and it's panning out, which is great. It's also extremely hard because there's so much narrative. It's hard to keep up with and get into what's going on, which is what's great about, you're you're buying stuff and using stuff. I'm not, I'd like to do that, but I'm not as committed as that. I'm more I'm buying Bitcoin as the asset. Although I have started to buy a lot more stuff with this. We've got to talk about this Bitcoin ETF and it's been, if you can say it's beating a dead horse, but it's right around the corner. Supposedly Monday, it's Friday today. Today's the 5th. Monday the 8th, everybody's betting that it's going to be released, or the SEC is going to say, okay, these companies can go ahead and roll out the ETF. Primarily, they're thinking BlackRock, but the whole reason they're having to do it on the 8th, or people are saying it's going to happen on the 8th, is because it's ARK's deadline to either approve or decline their ETF. And so quickly, a couple things. So the controversy is all over, but what I've heard here recently is a lot of the experts expect it to probably bounce, but then come back down and not sustain for many different reasons. A lot of people say these major companies, if it does roll out, or when it does roll out, many of these companies have already started buying up Bitcoin. It's going to be a bit of a process, all this stuff. So there's a lot of speculation on, number one, is it going to roll out next week on the 8th or somewhere around the 8th? Number two, how much of a bounce or rocket ship is it going to cause for Bitcoin and the rest of these cryptocurrencies? And does it maintain, or does it start to come down a little bit, level out, and then we get into the halving in April? There's all these, again, and I'll be quiet because I'm kind of rambling here, but there's this constant back and forth about what can be expected with all of this, which is what drives price. What I find very interesting, and then I'll let you comment on this, is they had earlier this week a fake statement came out. Basically, that's the best way to describe it. Fake statement came out, and Bitcoin dropped like 11% in like an hour or two. So that tells you, to me, that tells me there is a lot of uncertainty still going on, no matter how many experts say this is what's going to happen.
To me, it says there's a lot of people and a lot of money chomping at the bit, waiting for information. And even, when information comes out that hasn't been fully vetted, the market is moving. So
Yes.
when it does come out, I'm expecting big things. As soon as it's available, as soon as I'm able to buy a spot Bitcoin ETF from any company that allows it in our IRAs, in our Roth IRAs, I will go 100% Bitcoin. Eventually, I'll split. I'm in just like Hormel Foods and Pepsi and stuff like that. But immediately from the get-go, I'm going 100% Bitcoin. We don't have enough to worry. It's not like I'm risking.
So what I'm hearing is buy Bitcoin now because it's going to $200,000 a coin because the Kirstings are moving all their money into
Bitcoin. Kirstings are moving into it, which means it'll probably. This is when Bitcoin officially drops down. But when traditional finance is able to get their hands on it, I can't imagine. It'll rock it up, but it'll probably also come crashing down. I don't know if it'll go back down below 40, but if it goes back down below 40, I'll just keep buying in. But I'm going to make it a percentage of my future investments. But everything we have in there right now, I'm going to sell everything and buy Bitcoin, because in a Roth IRA, you can buy and sell without the tax penalty. Mm-hmm. So as long as it's in the Roth vehicle, I don't have to worry about taxable events. So I'm going to sell everything, put it in Bitcoin, and then at some point I'll figure out what my 50-50, 60-40, 25-75, whatever I'm going to do. But Abby will quickly be a big-time Bitcoin investor.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, right? What you're describing is, even though there's all this back and forth right now, and that's good for YouTube ratings and everything else, the agreement by everybody is that long-term, whether you consider long-term 12 months or 12 years or somewhere in between, long-term Bitcoin is going to continue to appreciate in value, by extreme amounts. Now, the what's the word I'm looking for? The volatility in between is where the controversy is. And it's no surprise that I've been holding out for a good dip to buy in much more, which we already had. I just wasn't educated enough on Bitcoin. So I continue to buy every month based on this, these risk factors I shared with you when you were in town and all that. But I'm definitely looking for an opportunity for it to come down. And so what I'm getting at here is, here recently, many of the experts have talked about how, yes, long-term, no question, Bitcoin is going to appreciate in value tremendously. It's going to bring a lot of other currencies with it. We're going to see rotations into different areas of the market, Web3 market and crypto.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, small caps,
rotation. Yeah. But we'll also have some drawbacks too. But how much is going to be the question? Nobody knows for sure how much. Is it going to be, a 20% drawback? Is it going to be 50% like it's done in the past? Is this market different? There's all this stuff going on, and we don't know. The safest thing you can do is just buy what you can afford every month, and, kind of start doing your research and if you can buy into products like you're doing, and you've talked, showed me with HiveMapper that is creating an income stream on its own. That's a nice way to be able, I think I wouldn't mind having an extra $300, $200, $500 a month of honey tokens to buy, Solana with, or whatever these things are.
That's what I love about it, going straight into the Phantom wallet, because it's a Solana deal. So you can buy Solana wrapped anything, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever, and you can swap it like that on Jupiter, and it costs almost nothing. So if I get 2,670, maybe I take 170 honey tokens and just swap those. So just like every week, I'm getting a nice round 2,500 honey tokens and then taking that cream on the top. And one of the guys I heard talking about it said Solana is one of the best places you could reasonably dollar cost average $10 a week, and you wouldn't be losing what you'd be losing in gas fees and shit on Ethereum.
You couldn't do it on Ethereum.
Yeah, it wouldn't be worth it. But in Solana at this time, as low as all the price, $10 a week into certain projects, and you could be setting yourself up pretty well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and there are endless amount of projects to choose from. You really do got to kind of figure out what your niche wants to be, because man, it's so easy to get drawn in on all these different there's so many. Again, this technology is attacking every area, and because it's attacking every area of our lives, there's new products and developments that are coming to stage that are so interesting and have so much promise. You really got to figure out, where do you want to streamline and specialize in?
You could almost pick a blockchain and do that. I mean, because AVAX, they're like, when I watch some of these videos and they're like, oh yeah, well, and then this and this and this, I can't even name them, but they're like, yeah, these projects are so blah, blah, blah over here. And I'm like, man, I'm like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and, like I'm familiar with AVAX and Cardano and stuff like that, but you're talking there's near protocol. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many down the line that all have like a very specific purpose. You know what I mean? Whether it's data storage or rendering or gaming or finance. And it's like, you could really pick one of those and focus on that and still never figure out everything that's on there. So I'm excited about the games. I'm really excited about the games that we talked about in year one on this channel, because all of those projects started back then, and the ones that have survived to now have been building and waiting for this moment that's about to happen.
Yeah.
And once it goes, I think a big thing this year is going to be revisiting a lot of those projects, touching base with NFT projects, Fluff World, big time gaming, stuff like that, and
Arcade.
See where we're at, who made it, who's still building, and what the price token is, compared to what it was then. And because I'm pumped. And like I said, I know that I got ripped off by not getting my Hive Mapper early, but I got lucky by finally having a little bit of extra money to buy a camera, to be completely go, oh, I hope this works. And it really has worked. And because of what it's done, it's allowed me to already put my paws in a lot of projects. I've got Wilder token. I bought a lot of those projects that we talked about. And it's like, I love this so much more because I'm not buying 1,000 tokens and hoping that the price goes up. I am doing that. But like the Hive Mapper, it's like I bought a $300 camera. And last week I made 2,500 tokens, which is about $500. And next week I'll make about the same. And next week I'll make about the same. And it's like, and so all of this money is coming in that I'm at that point now able to distribute. And hopefully when I have 5 more cameras, hopefully I'm making even more, and all of those cameras, if you bought them before December 31st, after 250 miles, or I think it's kilometers, but
200.
Regardless of whether it's been mapped, once you log in 250 kilometers, you get a 2,500 token bonus, which at this point is worth $500. So every one of those $300 cameras you buy gets you a $500 worth of token. It's like, it's a no-brainer to get in there. But then, it's like, okay, well, once everybody has that, then it's going to be, I don't know how the tokenomics works. It's going to be slim pickings because there's going to be a lot of people vying for these tokens. But the thing is, then the company is more valuable. If that company, they just about anywhere in the world, you want to see what this street looked like yesterday, and they can sell that information, then the token is more valuable, even though it's harder to get. It's just like Bitcoin. It used to be, I used to go out and get 50,000 Bitcoins, for mining.
2 pizzas with it. Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly what it is. And it's like, but now we're at the point where it's like accumulate time, get as many as you can. Even the bonus for Hive Mapper from now till I think April is 1,000 tokens. So the bonus has gone down. But they're doing like multipliers. They're figuring out ways to get people more excited about this and get better footage and better data.
I think you just stumbled on the word of the year for us. We are not financial advice. This is not financial advice, but I think the word of the year is accumulate.
Yeah. Yes, because what that video you sent me, the banana zone, that could potentially not even be 2024. We might not even get crazy in 2024, but all these little hiccups at the beginning, if when it went up to 38 cents, the market cap of Hive Mapper was like 150 million. You know what I mean?
Nothing.
And it's like, wait a minute. Fluff World was 4 billion, whatever. It's like that was the on a game that might or might not come out. And it's like that was the market cap on a game or on what might be a game sometime in the future. And this real world company with now thousands and thousands and thousands of cameras out there recording every single day, and
selling data
to other real world companies.
Real world business. Yeah.
Right. They're not selling to crypto companies. They're not, doing stuff like that. They're selling real life data to real life companies that actually use it, making real life money and sending it out. You know what I mean? Sending out the tokens. And it's like $150 million market cap is pocket change when we were talking about stuff last year. You know what I mean? I think very reasonably from its high, it could go 10x. We're talking over $1 billion market cap, no problem. Yeah. But that would make it at like a $3 token or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you start thinking about that, it's like, just get as many as you can. I bought a camera for one of my buddies in England. My other buddy in England bought one, and he's been going around banking. And our other buddy was like, I don't know. I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to send you a camera. And when you make $10,000, you pay me back for that camera. He's like, well, I'll do that. So
that's that's how confident you're like, this is how confident I am that this is not a scam, like, let alone I've been doing it. But I've heard of, we've got to wrap this up, but I can't help but say, I noticed when I got on there and was looking at that Hive Mapper stuff after you sent it over to me, you've got people that are forming, I forget what it is, but they have groups of people driving for them. They're supplying fleets. Yes. That's how legitimate, that's how serious this is.
Right. And that's what I mean. Like, I'm half tempted to break into cars and install demos into people's cars, because until they have to go to a mechanic to use that. I've had cars where I've never ever used that. You know what I mean? Like that little port. And it's like, you could rig up. I mean, so I bought 3 of those initially. I bought 3 more now, but initially it was like $777 with the discount start when you order at least 3. So it was like $777. And once I hooked them up, and that was it. They hide up in the dash. You could tuck them, you could tape them, you could, pin them behind the wires and stuff. I haven't thought about them while driving the car since then. And I have 3 cars. They're all outgoing, and every week it just drops more in there. I'm like, how can I get more? I'm about to go test drive cars down at the dealership and start installing demos, because in the first 4 weeks, I've had my car hooked up all 4 weeks, Abby's car hooked up barely 3 weeks, and the other one only 2 weeks. And in 4, it all just goes into the same pile. And in 4 weeks, I've made over $300, which paid for the first one already.
Right.
So I will be in profit, every month I'll pay off another demo at least. And the price goes up, or the earning power goes up, the longer your streak is every week that you drive. It's not by the mile. It's by every week logging on as in turning your car on. It activates it.
Giving them data. So
I wish I was back at the fire station. I'd be handing those out for Christmas presents. I'll be like, here you go. At the end of the year, I'll send you half the crypto it makes it. I'll pay for the whole system. I'll put it in your car. All you got to do is drive once a week.
Just do what you've already been doing.
Just keep doing it, and I'll split it. Anybody watching right now from Wichita or Dayton, that wants me to buy theirs and we can split it 50-50 down the middle, I will do that.
Ben is flush with cash and he
Get a
is
hold of
ready
me.
to
Yeah, I got
invest.
honey tokens burning a hole in my pocket.
On that note, I've got to wrap up because I've got to go. We will most likely, as soon as the ETF is released, we will jump back on and have to record at least something about that. And we got to start getting some of this other information out because although we've been gone since September, mostly because I burned my hands. You can't.
Yeah, you can't. Oh, okay. Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah.
It looks like you got.
If you're watching this
lesions.
show, you probably know us and are aware of this. I burned my hand. So we were down for a long time. Point being, we may not have been recording, but nothing changed with us, Web3 and crypto. We've been getting after it, and there is a lot happening. So
also, if you're in the Dayton area and you have a ladder, I need to get this on my roof.
Like a 2.5 Victorian style.
Yeah, I need to get up to the top part, and I do not have the ability to do that. So
hit
me up.
Still in the packaging.
I'll give you a free demo.
All right, so we're back and look forward to a huge 2024. All right, see you soon.
See ya.